Hello everybody, Danny Bonin here. Just a quick brief announcements before we start the episode. We experienced some technical difficulties, and so you may notice that Scotty and I's audio is not up to par. So just want to apologize ahead of time. Our episodes aren't normally like this. You can still hear us, it's just not the best audio in the world. Please forgive us, and know that it won't happen again, if I can help it, god damn it. Please enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Cult Classic Horror Show. Every week, you can have the conversations you've always wanted to have about the films you love.
Shut up!
We're gonna get you, not another peep.
Get rid of your distractions and prepare yourself.
Then lock your door. 5, 6, crucifix.
You got a big surprise coming to you. You're not going anywhere.
Welcome everybody to the Cult Classic Horror Show. Danny Bonin here with you.
And Scotty Bonin here with you guys.
We are the Blood Brothers. And
the Rob. And, damn it, sorry.
Carmelo Camara.
I thought this would be the one time we'd do it. We wouldn't even talk about it. Rob let me down.
Rob's afraid I'm going to supplant him.
He came in. It was a little late, but that's all right. Still came in.
I hammered that White Claw right before the show started.
You're burping mid-sentence. That's what happened.
Pretty much.
Rob, we're doing this with video again. We're going to try to start doing that. And I don't know how Rob, good thing he's married because he'd never get laid with all those Funko Pops next to his bed.
What are you talking about? and I got Beetlejuice up there?
Oh, yeah. I love the Beetlejuice. It looks nice.
That's cool.
Funko Pops.
I got Kevin Costner right in front of me.
As opposed to like Carmelo, he's got like a room it's a library with lots of dark wood, like rich mahogany
books and DVDs.
Yes, rich
the ladies
mahogany.
Love my rich mahogany.
And he's drinking his
He's drinking scotch,
bourbon.
I should have grabbed a drink because we're on video.
Yeah, I should have too.
Classier if I had.
We could have got some tequila. That's right.
You gotta get the oil and the balm. Your beards. You gotta get it. You gotta get it laying down.
This thing is like untamable. Like I have.
No, you gotta get the balm for it. That's how you paint it.
I have beard balm and I have beard oil, and I've heavily used both on it, and it seems like it won't do anything with it. It's just.
Well, you gotta get the longer it grows.
Yeah,
you could brush it out.
Probably needs to get a little bit longer. Then you can balm it.
Anyways, here we are. New York Ripper.
The New York Ripper.
The New York Ripper.
The New York
1982.
And I will be silent the rest of the podcast now because I have nothing good to say.
Oh.
Did you want to get us any bad reviews on it?
Did you even watch this movie, Rob? Because you were.
I did. I even have my rundown.
Hell yes. Of course you do.
My friend gave me a play-by-play while I was in the emergency room.
Yeah, but then did you?
And then
watch
I came home. Yeah, then I came home and watched it.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I got to grab my rundown.
Oh, son
so
of a bitch.
Should we do first impressions then, Danny?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Well, yeah,
it was awful.
I'll that was Rob.
As he bends down. And
my first impression is, it takes a different kind. This wasn't like my favorite movie, but it is a little all over the place to me. I had trouble following what was going on, what happened at the end. It didn't help that I was falling asleep at the end, but there was some good parts to it. There's some decent kills and whatnot, as to say Scotty's word that he uses all the time. That's whatnot.
That's whatnot.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Apparently as well.
I would give it 0 to 10. I'd give it a 5, 4, 5. I don't know, something like that.
Negative 3 stars.
It's not really my thing. This movie's not really my thing. It was okay, but I probably won't watch it again.
Carmelo, you're up next.
I think on a letter grading system, I'd give it like a C plus. I think it had a lot going for it, but I'm with you, Danny. So, some of the excessive gore is almost too much for me, and I think coupled with a kind of relaxed narrative, I think it wasn't as gripping a mystery as it could have been. I actually think there was a good story buried in there, but some of the key story points are rushed, and some of the atypical filmmaking and the gore kind of distract, and that's kind of where I landed.
Well, to be clear, I have no trouble with gore, and I didn't actually think that there's too much of it. Like I love gore. But the gore that was there was a little bit. I mean, I realized this is 81, 82.
82.
I realized that they didn't have the best technology at the time, but it just wasn't that awesome to me. The razor blade through the eye was pretty cool, but you could tell that they were not working with much because it was like the moment before the gore happens and then extreme close up on gore. There wasn't anything happening where you could see a person's body while the gore was happening. You know what I mean? It was obviously they created these could have been 6-inch by 6-inch models to make gory. So I just felt like I love gore and I didn't mind the gore. I felt like we were missing that middle ground of the mid shot. And it's obviously because they probably didn't have enough money to do that. So that's where it sort of lost me too. It's extreme close up. What's really happening here? I want to see a little bit more even.
Yeah, my thoughts on it too. It was definitely an awkward movie, even just to begin with. But there was just I thought it started off pretty good, but there was just the sexual tension in it, and the lips curling and chattering and stuff, and the close-ups with the sweat and the eyes. It was just a little too much for me. I'm like, okay,
who doesn't like a good towing?
Yeah, a good toe fingering. That was nasty. Guy probably has an athlete's foot.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I do have an appreciation for. I mean, it's Lucio Fulci. He's done tons of good horror movies, and he just has a different kind of style and take on it. And I appreciate that it was different from movies that you were originally or used to seeing that was in the 80s. So it's from that standpoint, I give him credit for it being just different, but wasn't my type of favorite horror movie. But I give it 6. I give it a 6.
Yeah, I agree. If you're into movies with plots, this is not for you. If you're into special effects that look real, this isn't for you.
Yeah.
It sounds like Rob wants to give us his rundown.
If you're really into dubbing everything, this is for you.
Yes.
Dubbing must have been
which some people like that kind of movie.
Dubbing must have been a lost thing because literally every person we'll get into it later. Literally every person's movie's dubbed, and it's you have your on-screen actor and then you have your well-known dub actor, and it's a thing.
I have an emergency. I'll be right back.
Oh. So we have to stall for his rundown.
Well, we could do a quick storyline.
Let's do Carmelo. Let's hear what happens in this thing. This is going to be challenging, I think.
It is because, to be frank with you, I don't remember every character's name, even though I watched it yesterday. I think I got the main ones down. So just checking them now. All right. So the gist of it is there is a serial killer on the loose in New York City. It starts with a body discovered by the harbor, and more bodies start piling up. They're all women. They're all attractive women, and most of them are either sex workers or sex performers or something like that. Back in pre-Giuliani New York, when you could find that sort of thing in Times Square, the killer quacks like a duck and talks in like that. And this is the only real clue to go off of. The lieutenant in charge of the case seeks out the aid of a psychologist, a professor who is going to consult for him and help profile the killer. And for most of the movie, we're led to believe that it's a male gigolo with only 2 fingers on his right hand. He seems to be the main target. And he attacks a young woman named Faye, who actually is able to survive. And she and her boyfriend, fiance. I'm not crystal clear on how close they are. Maybe they're married even. But she has this horrible vision that he's the killer, and she kind of starts her own investigation. And ultimately, the man with 2 fingers is found dead. I've kind of cut out a subplot in there about a very sexually active married woman in an open relationship who meets an unfortunate and gruesome demise. In the end, the Faye discovers that it is in fact her husband who is the killer. He has a daughter suffering from terrible cancer. She's had her arm and her leg amputated, and she's going to die. And he's sort of snapped because, like, his daughter will never grow up to be a woman like the women he's killing. He speaks to her on the phone to comfort her in a duck voice, and the duck has become sort of his avatar that kills for him. And then I don't know why I feel the need to say this, but he gets his head blown the fuck off at the end, and it is really awesome.
Yeah.
He gets his cheek annihilated.
Yeah. His cheek blows into smithereens. Yes. That was good. Yeah, that was
That's the story.
That sums it up.
Rob, you need to move your camera down a little bit.
We want to see that full beard.
Oh, whoa.
Oh no, I don't want to see your crotch. I want to see your
what's
tits.
going on?
I don't want to see the keyboard.
Like how down?
It was just like a smidgen.
Just like a smidgen.
Perfect.
There you go. Oh, there it is.
Gorgeous.
Now you're looking sexy.
I want to, just at the nipple line. I want to see the nips. Yeah. No.
Okay.
All right, I think we're ready for Rob's rundown.
Let's do it.
If he's ready.
Probably.
All right, get to it.
All you.
Goodness sakes.
Okay. New York Ripper, 1982, directed by Lucio Fulci, produced by Gino Bombazzi and the Ferenzi brothers, along with Big Sal's Eatery and Cantina. Just a bunch of terrible New Yorkers. This takes place in New York when it was still artsy and full of magic and tasteful 1980s racism and stereotypes. It has dubbed barking, a mannequin hand, dubbed whistling, dubbed dubbing. It has a nosy landlady, one old school, no-nonsense homicide detective, a distracted bicyclist, a wide-legged lipstick vandal, vigorous quacking, one super cool old medical examiner, the first film to feature the Chess Challenger, that stupid friggin' light-up game he was playing. It has free live sex shows, one death by broken bottle in the bush. It has my favorite car, 1979 928 Porsche. It's a car from Risky Business. It has ingrown toelingus. It has overly chapped lips, a penis pipe labeled Exhibit B, and an ending that I'm sure the hack of a director that Fulci is actually thought was good.
Savage.
I can now understand why Rob grows an Amazon jungle bush. It's to keep broken shards of glass out of it. It's to keep people from jabbing him.
Or you keep your penis pipe tucked up in there.
And I'm just going to like jump ahead for a second because the ending was so terrible in this movie that it has to be addressed immediately.
Oh.
So he was killing these women because he was upset that his daughter wouldn't reach puberty and flower like all of these whores that he was murdering.
Yeah,
or
that's pretty much
okay.
it.
I just was making sure. I know it's European.
The size of it. Yeah.
So I just was making sure because it wasn't like she has cancer and she's been dealt this awful hand. It's like she's just never going to make love and be a woman. So I'm going to murder all these other ones.
I was kind of wondering why they didn't show the daughter earlier. Like if she was brought into the story a little bit earlier, we knew she was dying. But I guess that was kind of the whole mystery behind the killer. They probably didn't want to show her too soon. But it would have been nice. It would have put it together a little bit more for me.
I think Fulci thinks he's Alfred Hitchcock. He's like, oh,
he does like
we're going to delve into the mind of multiple personalities and psycho. No, it's crap. You just there's this girl with a missing arm and there's a duck.
She had missing legs.
So the guy.
Don't know if you noticed.
Oh, I didn't notice.
This actually was tributed to Alfred Hitchcock. Fulci said.
Well, that's good.
Billing it as Hitchcock Revisited, a fantastic film with a plot, violence, and sexuality.
Yeah.
To Scotty's point, I think with like revealing the daughter too late in the movie, there's a fine line between wanting your movie to have a twist and the twist coming off as contrived. Like, you don't want to telegraph it, but really, if your audience can't possibly piece the ending together until you reveal some vital thing, then it does seem like it kind of came out of nowhere. Like, the ending could just as easily have been, and there was an alien from outer space that kills women. And
yeah, the ending could have just easily been an actual duck. It
Yeah,
could have been
it
a
could have
real
been Donald Duck.
Howard the
for all I
Duck.
know.
Howard the
It's
Duck.
like Alfred Hitchcock gave you twists, but there's a difference between, like what Carmelo was saying, the end of this and suspense, or trying to figure it out like a thriller. This is just like, oh, it's this girl that he talks to like a duck.
And you know what? While we're on the duck,
Sorry, that was my best duck impression.
it's very good.
Every time. Well, thank you.
While we're on the duck, can we talk about? Did anyone find out why Lucio Fulci hates ducks? Because apparently this is not the only movie that features ducks.
I saw
He did a
that
movie-
Patrick Rufa posted another duck thing that was like...
Yes, Patrick Rupa, who is our researcher in the field,
Yeah.
has been... I
our
almost
correspondent.
That's right, our correspondent in the field.
Yeah.
I watched another Fulci movie today thinking maybe this one was a trick, like Puppet Master,
Yes.
and somebody wanted to torture us. No, they're not good.
What'd you watch?
That was City of the Undead
Or City of the
something
Living
like
Dead.
that.
City of the
Yeah.
Living Dead, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not good.
He's done a ton of horror movies, too, so there's got to be one good one in there.
Well, I do have a lot.
I still didn't mind
I
this
think
one.
they're good in a way. They're just
Yeah.
not my cup of tea.
They have their uniqueness to them, and this had some good things. I already gave it a 6.
Yeah, and Scotty's banged a lot of 4s, so
Yes.
6 is fine.
Exactly.
So I have some notes here. I think we may be missing out on some notes. I will admit I have the Blu-ray with all the special features, and
Yeah.
I watched all of the special features in favor. I watched that first, and then thought, hey, if I have time, I'll watch it with commentary, because the commentary was done by basically a guy who's a self-proclaimed expert on Fulci. And I was like, I'd rather see the interviews with the writer, the actors, and
It was Freddie Torres. Freddie Torres did the commentary.
Freddie was the one doing the commentary.
rather than
in his
listen to
garage with all the
Torres.
sounds of traffic behind him.
So I didn't want to. Yeah, exactly. He's transporting like Quantum Leap to all the noisiest places on Earth. So, anyways.
So you should have watched the commentary, because this guy was very
I watched
smart.
all the stuff,
No.
and then I said, oh, hey, I got like 10 minutes left before we record. I'm going to watch 10 minutes of the commentary. And as I started watching the commentary, it was actually very insightful and very useful. And so I'm sort of upset that I didn't watch the complete commentary, maybe in favor of the interviews with the actors and writer, a couple other people too. So
See, this guy in the commentary probably dedicated his life to Fulci, so he probably knew more than Fulci knew about himself.
could be.
Much
That's
like the
right.
psychiatrist in this movie.
Exactly.
Did anyone pick up on him as like a red herring? Was I supposed to think the whole time that it was him? Because I did.
The psychiatrist?
Yeah, for sure. He was like, he had serial killer written all over his
I
face.
thought it was
that
him.
woman in his
Actually-
office.
This movie made so little amount of sense. I had no idea where it was going, and then after 4 hours in the emergency room and coming home, I just didn't care. I'm going to be honest. Like, it ended with the daughter, and she's crying, "Daddy, please call." I'm like, please, just let it end. Just like I felt nothing for this child, but I just want
that
the
really
movie
got
to
me.
end. It probably would have got me, but the rest of the movie just really, really numbed me.
Well, I have some.
That's good, because
so
you're in
bad.
bad pain.
I have a lot of stuff here, so we should get into it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
A movie was originally titled The Beauty Killer. Then its filming title was just The Ripper. Was going to be directed by Ruggero Deodato, who directed Cannibal Holocaust and quite a lot of other films,
Yes.
but then switched hands. These are going to be a little bit all over the place. The featurettes weren't in great order. But 4 weeks they shot in New York on location, and then a couple weeks back in Rome, where Fulci filmed all his stuff at the time. It was shot by Luigi Cavia, and so basically the cinematographer, he had done things, what's Fulci's other movie, Lizard in Human Skin or something like that. He had worked on that, and he'd worked on Deep Red for Argento, so he was an experienced cinematographer. Mm-hmm. There are rumors surrounding Fulci in general, just about that he's misogynistic, and this film is, he's such a misogynistic person, and that he's mean to his actresses. But after watching some interviews and things, it was mainly he's just sort of mean to whoever when he loses his temper, and I think that was sort of, people just took that and said, oh, it's just the actresses.
One of the producers on the movie said he nurtures a profound sadism toward women. That's one of the reasons for sexuality. Yeah. Maybe it is true. One of the actresses, the girl who played the girl that gets it right in the crotch with the bottle. Oh, yeah.
Was it her? Yeah. It was her. Mm-hmm.
That's the girl that's in, like, the sex parlor and that's having sex when she walks in. Yeah.
She did say that on a different set, in a different film, she wasn't hitting her mark, wasn't getting her lines, and he said in front of everybody, you're like a dead dog. You're acting just like a dead dog.
Oh, jeez.
And then that made her so mad she went home, studied everything up, and was perfect the next day. And then as people were leaving, he recalled cut. He told her, just to her, that she was wonderful, gave her a little kiss on the cheek, and she made him call everyone back in and say it in front of them how wonderful she is. So that made it up for her, and she was like, he's a nice guy. But I don't know. Others may say differently. This film did not get released in the UK or the US because of its content, of course. The first time I think any UK-US were seeing it was from Dutch VHS copies being shipped or leaked. Not leaked, but just shared and shipped all over the world. Obviously now it has a much wider reach.
So it was just too violent and gory for any distributor to take it back then? Yeah, that's too bad.
Well, I'd heard that in the UK they actually ordered all the copies back and shipped them out on planes back to Italy, like under police supervision.
Oh, wow.
They were serious about that.
Oh, wow.
And, that makes me think that this movie, for as much as we didn't really all care for it, I think this movie really is like the essence of a cult classic horror movie because it grew this cult following even though it wasn't readily available. And I think that's part of the mystique around what they called the video nasties in the UK. And I think this movie's one of those. I think it's really a good example of one of those.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, and I don't have notes on all this, but I just, from listening to them talk, this was a time when 81, 82, where slashers in the US were catching a lot of flack. It was when Friday the 13th first was making its big numbers, and these critics who aren't used to reviewing this kind of material suddenly had to review it because it's playing in all 1,000 cinemas across the nation, and didn't like it. They didn't like it because they're not horror fans. Well, all of these are catered to horror fans, so if you're just some film critic that is adept to drama or whatever, of course you're not going to like it. And it's not the point to make these high-falutin critics enjoy Fatootin. Yeah, they're Fatootin.
I think that's probably why, if I had to guess, why some of these movies are so violent is because horror catching on more mainstream like that sort of floods the market, right? And then to stand out amongst all these other horror movies, you just need to do more horror, and in some cases that means more gore. I should mention, Danny, we talked about it earlier. I don't mind the gore either. I like gore. I think some of the extreme close-up stuff is I didn't really get that, and I think you hit the nail on the head before. Is it doesn't feel like I see a person getting hurt. It just feels like I'm watching, I don't know, meat get sliced up.
Yeah,
stabbing.
And to me, that's where it loses me.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like with anything, like music or anything else. When a new genre becomes mainstream, you try to be the extreme to the new thing. It's like, and usually with that, at least for me, is where you lose a lot. It just becomes, you focus on like the uber gore, or you focus on the uber theatrics, and you lose what's supposed to make it special. Like, I don't know, like Rob Zombie. That's why he sucks so much, because, Metal was very mainstream, and then he came out and did all his little carnival tricks and stuff like that. And this is kind of like that to me. It's typical slasher movie, but super close focusing, and like, cut to the scream and then cut to a little 8x8 square and watching somebody saw latex.
Well, it was
it just doesn't really work.
It was very much in that one-up race. That's what slashers got caught in the early 80s, was they just had to keep one-upping each other as far as how far they were willing to take it to keep people entertained. Yeah. And this Italian horror is no different. That's all they were doing all the time. So the writer...
They were laundering money for the Cosa Nostra. That's all they were doing.
The writer admittedly said that, hey, we were just...
Rob, you got a big mouth, Rob.
You better watch it, buddy.
Carmelo, I want to know who this Rob guy is and how he knows so much.
You're going to get us both buried in my my next landscaping project.
Who are the people he knows?
So...
Yeah. I heard he's been talking with that Carmelo guy. No, you said he was good. Well, apparently somebody's been talking.
There's a different story behind that.
So the writer, Dardano Sacchetti, however you want to say it. I don't know, Carmelo, how do you say his name?
Yeah, say it.
I don't have it in front of me, so I'm not sure, but probably
sure.
Sacchetti.
Sacchetti. Dardano Sacchetti. It's like you're saying the pizza, Boboli pizza.
Oh,
Yeah,
what?
it's
Oh,
Oh,
shit,
what?
I just broke my pen.
Bubbly pizza.
Boboli pizza. Remember Boboli pizzas?
Bubbly.
No.
It's like Tombstone or Totino's.
It's like DiGiorno, but it's just the crust is
When I'm in
Boboli.
Chicago, man, we ran that shit out of town.
Boboli pizza.
yeah.
Do you still have Totino's though?
No, we ran them out of town.
No,
too.
you gotta have Totino's
Totino's is
pizza
in, like,
in your
every
grocery store.
supermarket.
We have like Jack's and Tombstone.
Okay.
Tombstone's good. Jack's is terrible. I actually had Jack's this weekend.
I haven't had Jack's. I've had two.
That's probably where the leg infection came from.
Definitely didn't help.
Yeah.
All right, well, okay. Talking about the writer, Darno Sacchetti. Sorry, I'm just getting into it here.
I'm just getting into it.
Rip it up.
So Sacchetti.
Oh, you got to do the hands. You got to. Oh,
Right, we're on video. We can do the
Sacchetti.
Yeah, we are in video.
that's how you know Carmelo's like up there, because he puts them together. He knows. He gets them real close.
Very close.
Sacchetti. All right. So Sacchetti and Fulci have worked together for 5 years before this. They've done like 5 or 6 films together, and I don't know if they had a certain film contract, but Sacchetti said this is towards after their 5-year stint had ended. So originally, Clarici and Menino, well, those are the last names, were the writers. They had written a script that was... Sacchetti thought they ripped off a film called The Hunger that was written in the U.S., which is actually a film whereby the people are plagued by the disease progeria, which is basically a disease where your cells and your tissue age faster than they should.
Ooh,
So
that sounds fun.
it's an actual thing that kids get, and then they often die when they're like 5, 6, 7, or 8 years old. Because
Isn't that Robin Williams movie?
I don't think so.
Pretty sure there was a Robin Williams movie about
Does
it.
sound familiar.
Yeah. So, anyways, they
Jack.
had the one called Hunger is about vampires.
Jack. It was Jack.
Yeah, but
I
that's
just said
not
that.
about Jack. Jack.
I
is
didn't
made
hear it. I was
way-
looking at the dog.
But that does ring a bell.
Yeah, it could be similar.
So this movie Hunger was written about vampires. So I don't know how that all tied in, but it was about, immortal true vampires or immortal and turned vampires are only live a couple centuries, and something about progeria. I don't know, but that was sort of the plot line of Hunger. So these, Clarici and Menino took that idea, wrote this thing where basically I have it written down here. Film about a man who kills women that he gets pregnant, He has this disease. I don't know how he got old enough to be having sex, but he has this progeria disease. Maybe he contracted it, although I don't know that it works that way. Who kills women that he gets pregnant so that the child doesn't have his disease and grow and be cursed with that. And that was sort of their thing. And then the climax was going to be he's in a crowded nightclub scene at the end, and the cops have his picture, and they're scanning people as they come out of the nightclub. They've shut the whole thing down, and he gets away by aging like 40 years in 5 minutes because of his disease or whatever. And that wasn't really doable at the time on screen and to make it look real with the budget. Anyways, they were writing this thing. This was their idea. But Sacchetti said that the violent scenes weren't violent enough for Fulci. The buyers weren't really into this whole thing. The whole script wasn't reading well. And so Fulci brought back Sacchetti and, politely sidelined Clarici and Menino, and excuse, I do need something to drink. Had Sacchetti basically take their framework and insert a ton of scenes into it. It wasn't a whole script rewrite, but he inserted his violent scenes in there and incorporated some of the same characters. Had to incorporate some of the same filming locations because they had contracts signed and paid for about 60% of the locations already. And they also had actors and actresses hired already, so he had to keep a lot of the same roles and things in it. So that's what turned into this, and then I guess the buyers got on board and distributors, I don't know. But it almost sounds like the first one would have been more interesting.
Yeah, it seemed a little bit more of a plot there for the first one, but maybe, I don't know, this was a little bit more eye-popping for the guys.
So it was...
It would have had its own set of problems.
Yeah.
Like, how does he control how he ages? And why does he keep knocking all these women up if he knows that he doesn't want to have a baby?
There's some plot holes.
There would have been more explaining.
I mean, there's either that or you had to cast Tom Atkins. And,
then everything would have been fine and peachy.
So... But anyways, I guess Fulci and Sacchetti had a falling out before asking him back, and so they didn't leave on the best terms, but then he asked him back, and I think they were fine after that. Sacchetti did say that Fulci is one of the nicest, kindest men that he's ever met or worked with, even though they've had their differences.
He's so kind.
So kind. What's that from?
American Psycho.
That's right, American Psycho.
The bum.
You're a kind man, sir.
You're kind.
You smell like dog shit, or whatever he says.
You smell like shit.
You smell like shit.
All right.
Not a fan of that movie.
You're so fucking stupid. I just want to pull your ears out.
You're off the podcast, Rob. Oh my god.
Don't ever slander American Psycho.
Say it again.
The movie's a fucking masterpiece. What is the matter?
I mean, it's okay.
It's a masterpiece.
Jared Leto was pretty good, I guess.
Christian Bale can act circles around Kevin Costner.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not seeing much of it. Just saying.
I've never seen Kevin Costner play anything besides Kevin Costner. That's all I'm saying.
That's all he needs to play is Kevin Costner.
You got Christian Bale as a skinny crackhead. You got him as Batman. You got him as...
he's not Batman. He's just not Batman.
He is Batman.
No, he's not Batman.
Who's Batman?
Yeah, who's Batman?
Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton is Batman.
Michael Keaton's
That's the only Batman.
Might be second.
Only Batman that counts is Michael Keaton.
I'm not going to discount Michael Keaton. He did a good job. But he's got like a flabby dad bod. He's not kicking anyone's ass.
If you were a billionaire, you would have a flabby dad's body.
He has
not
all
if you were Batman.
He has the tools that save him, but that's it. If he didn't have those tools to save him, he'd be getting in a lot of slap fights.
Michael Keaton got with Michelle Pfeiffer.
I guess there's
no other Batman has come close to Michelle Pfeiffer.
I guess there's hope for balding men everywhere.
Let's return to the New York Ripper, shall we? What else have you got for us, Danny?
The New York Ripper.
Do we have to? God, I don't want to talk about this movie anymore.
Oh my God!
We don't have to.
Speaking of ripping my ears off,
we don't have to because that means it's time for the horror halftime. Oh my gosh, that doesn't work.
That was very.
That's okay.
4 ways, very.
I think me and Carmelo were pretty close.
I think so. All right, we do have a horror freak of the week. Beak. It's always German.
Why is it always German?
It's Romanian.
It's like
Dracula. It has a horror freak of the week.
Of the week.
Schedule?
Freak comes in because Schedule?
No.
Who won, Danny?
And the freak of the week is
Patrick Rufa.
Yes. We were just talking about
Rufa.
Or halftime winner.
Rufa, Patrick submitted a ton of memes. We all have our favorites. I like
House 4.
I like Rob drinking the phlegm from the Phlegm-O-Matic.
That's one of my personals, because the other edit he did of
history.
that he sent to me personally was way less kind.
Can I just say, to keep the competition going, that we sort of picked Patrick. He had great memes, but we picked him because he's never won the horror halftime.
Which is weird.
Although I have to say, by a pubic hair, my favorite would be Lance Dale's
White Claws and
Pizza Hut
One
deal.
Claw and Pizza Man combo.
Yeah, the
that was
combo
great.
deal. That was probably my favorite.
That was so good.
So, but anyways, Patrick, shoot me a message. I know you won a shirt already as part of our live stream Kickstarter push thing.
He was so happy. I believe he requested a regular logo shirt and not one with my face on it.
You're not able to request, and so he did not request. I think he was just expecting a logo shirt.
So he walks around with my face on his
Yes.
shirt now.
And Danny, for all of our new listeners, how can they win the Horror Freak?
Oh,
League?
yes, I always forget about this lately. For you guys, if this is your first time listening, every week we have the horror halftime where you can submit memes into our group, the Cult Classic Horror group on Facebook, or on Twitter or Instagram. You just have to tag us at Cult Classic Horror and use the hashtag horror halftime. The meme you submit has to pertain to last week's episode. If we like your meme the best, you will be the horror freak of the week, and you will win a T-shirt, or if you've already, or other gear. If you've already won a shirt, we'll often send you stickers. So
Yes.
make sure you participate. So, for instance, next week, you want to create a meme that pertains to the New York Ripper, submit it on social media, tagging us at Cult Classic Horror, using the hashtag horror halftime, and you're automatically entered to win.
I gotta say, I love David Martin's bringing down the house for too. A little picture of Danny and I rocking
that
it
was awesome.
on our show that Aaron Garcia filmed in Houston.
Yeah, we were just down in Houston. Well, we were down in New Mexico, Corpus, Houston, and Wichita, and we got to meet up with Aaron Garcia, and that was awesome.
Heck
Even though we
yes.
kept him out till like 3 a.m.
Yeah, sorry,
It's
Aaron,
okay.
man. I just kept talking to you, talking your ear off.
You guys, if you guys are in Fayetteville, Arkansas, or Springfield, Missouri, we'll be there next weekend, so you should come
Or
out.
Castle, or Rockhaven,
Not this weekend, but
Illinois.
next weekend. Cave in Rock.
Cave in Rock, Illinois.
And you should come say hi to us. Let us know if you're there. I'll bring some CCH stickers in case I run into somebody. I forgot to give Aaron one. It was in the van the whole time.
God dang it.
All right.
I'm thinking maybe some CCH hoodies for some of us that are going to Colorado in September.
Can we do a quick last announcement? We're closing pre-orders for She Walks the Woods this week.
Yes.
We are. Those will be closing up. Go ahead, Carmelo.
So we ran a Kickstarter last month for Cult Classic Horror's first original horror movie, the found footage feature She Walks the Woods, and it was a smashing success thanks to all of you. Woo-hoo. And you can still pre-order for a limited time some of the Kickstarter rewards that were available. You can get the movie, of course, but this is the last chance to get certain things like getting your name in the credits or certain collector's items that we made just for the Kickstarter. So that pre-order store closes Saturday, August 31st. So do get your orders in if you're interested. Get them in before Saturday.
That's at
preorders.shewalksthewoods.com.
That's right. Go check that out. Okay, guys, that concludes the horror halftime. Yeah. I can't do it. I'm glad someone can do it because I can't.
I got you covered.
I didn't even try. So yeah, rewrites done. Sacchetti brought on. Working relationship with Fulci. Let's see. I did already mention that Diodato was possibly going to direct Ruggero Diodato, director of Cannibal Holocaust. But instead, actually, so later on, the script that I talked about, that Clarici and Menino were writing with the vampires and all that shit, what's it called? I forget what I said that disease was called. But anyways, they actually sold that idea to Ruggero, who made it into a film later on called Phantom of Death, or I think, if it was the Italian version, An Uncommon Crime. So we could still watch that. That's not the vampire one. That's like the dad, who I think, and I don't know if it follows exactly the same of what the script was going to be, which is him who keeps banging chicks and implanting them with his disease and all that. So
what got lost in translation from Phantom whatever to An Uncommon Crime?
I have no idea, honestly. What was it that the house was named?
House and then Horror Show or something.
Well, no, besides that, the original house, or the second one was like, the house, like, do not go into this house was the name of the movie or something. Remember that? We talked about that. I forgot what it was called.
Oh, yeah.
It was so
I don't listen to episodes that I'm not on.
You might be on that one. You don't listen to
I think you're on
the episode.
Yeah, I listen to every episode that I'm on. Thank you.
Oh, all right.
Just the intro and my rundown, and then just like here, I just kind of tune out after that.
The Sacchetti, the writer, did say that, and I don't know if this is a countrywide thing, maybe at the time in Italy, but the killer had to have an explanation of quote unquote why. Why did he do this? And he kept saying that was because of their Catholic mores in the Catholic Church. And I'm almost wondering, is the Catholic Church like monitoring these videos? Or is that just so ingrained in their heritage?
They are in Rome.
On that score, Lucio Fulci is a Catholic, or at least described himself as Catholic. And that's ironic because he's known for being very critical of the Catholic Church in his movies, specifically the other Duck movie we talked about earlier, and I think it's called Don't Strangle a Duckling. That was originally called Don't Strangle Donald Duck, and they changed it for copyright reasons in translation. And in that, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this 40-year-old movie, spoiler alert, the priest is a killer in that. He's a child killer. So that came under fire from the Catholic Church as well. So, that's a good question. Is he trying to, like, spite the Catholic Church? Are they keeping an eye on him because they have this, like, special grudge? That I'm not clear on.
Yeah, well, it was the writer he almost talked as though it were a thing when you're a writer for films in Italy, that you have to have a reason that the killer is doing this. He can't just be doing it for no reason. It has to have a reason, because they're concerned with there is a person doing something wrong, so a person sinning, and then taking those actions and sinning, and then there has to be a reason why, so that they can understand that and then atone for it. Is what the writer.
See, that's a very not Catholic mentality. As our resident recovering Catholic, I can tell you, Catholics just blame it on original sin, right? The idea is that all men are born with sin, so we just sin naturally. So we almost don't need a reason. It feels very not Catholic to me.
Well, so what they said, what Sacchetti said, I like to put it, Sacchetti said, was that they couldn't make something like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre where there's just no reason why they're doing it whatsoever, because they're just sick people. So we would have loved to do something like that, but he said it in Italian, so it was in subtitles.
Oh, we would have
loved to do something like that. We would have loved to do something like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
But then all the people would be frowning upon it.
I am so sorry, Carmelo, for
guys, this isn't like
racist co-host.
With racism, it doesn't work. Like, I have an Italian friend, I can make Italian racist jokes now. It doesn't work.
It doesn't?
I mean, I grant you the blessing to do so, but my relatives...
Okay, I'm going to raise my hand up for a question. If Danny can get away with the racist Italian, can I get away with my racist Hong Kong accent now?
Absolutely not. I'm not remotely Chinese.
Damn it.
Yeah, see.
My name is Camaro, and I don't like to get on my microphone.
If I was Chinese, then you could, or one of us.
Well, right, Scotty's got it, yeah.
I'm yeah.
I will say, what, giving the killer a motive made this way better because they set this movie up as a mystery. And if they had just found a guy who was slaughtering women and were like, okay, we got him, that would have sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, even in a movie like Seven, where you have like a deranged serial killer, he had like a code. He had like an impetus for his psyche. It's a rare movie that can just throw a pure evil being at you and still stay engaging. Yeah. Maybe Texas Chainsaw Massacre is that, though I just thought they were inbred. Yeah. Halloween, I think, is the only example that comes to my head that really sticks. they even gave Jason Voorhees a motive, but Michael Myers is the only one that's just pure evil. I think if this movie, with all its mystery and psychologist and everything, had ended with, well, he was evil, I would have just thrown remote control right through the door.
We do need to throw in there because Fulci threw in there. He's not just a psychologist. He is a psychologist into man-on-man pornography. Because they made sure I was trying to do my boobs and bush list, and I completely lost count. But there definitely was one coin purse hanging on the cover of one of those magazines that he bought. And that was one of those moments that I looked away and I was like, oh, whatever, delirious from all the antibiotics and raging swamp infection. And I look back and I'm like, why is that guy sticking a gay bondage magazine in a New York Times?
So the psychiatrist.
That's what they did on the street side in New York in 1982.
They would hide it so no one else would see it.
Rob, that's not where I thought you were going with that. When you said he was not a psychiatrist, I thought you were going to say he was a quack.
No.
Didn't do that.
A quack.
No. I am not giving this movie any of my good puns. I will say though that this movie has changed my mind. This movie was so terrible. I'm almost considering thinking that Stanley Kubrick was a decent director.
Oh,
getting as far as he got.
Wow.
Yeah, we're back to Rob didn't have his wife on today. We're back to.
I had one.
I
did. I only have one. I think it only got me juiced up enough to start the podcast.
The more I look at Rob, just the more downsy he gets. The more downsy he looks. He's got his eyes are sort of close together, and he's got this
whoa there.
He's got this large.
The views of Danny Boney do not necessarily reflect.
Here we go.
I'm just giving him shit. I'm just giving a Rob the shit.
I'm ready to get to Colorado to try the blackjack.
Oh yeah,
blackjack and the pizza.
Oh, dude,
that many microbrews and many craft beers.
All right, let's move on. So,
please move on.
Yeah. So that whole weird thing with the Catholic stuff. The writer did say that Fulci had to include some kind of sexy club or sex club. And that's like a thing with Italian directors that he's worked with. And they get together, and whenever they go to New York, they have to be at a sex club or sexy club. I don't really know what he meant by that. Does he mean a nightclub, or does he mean literally one of these places? Because they do exist on 42nd Avenue or wherever in New York where you can go. And very much in the time, it was like that. There were sex shows, and there were snuff videos.
Yeah, like an adult emporium place where you walk into and see live sex.
So, yeah, I guess that was a thing with Italian directors. Sexy nightclub.
I think it's a thing with Italians, not just with the directors.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, she like it with the toes. Yeah.
She loves it.
This. So the whole story here with this.
So that toenail wasn't grown. It was really bad.
He knew how to work it though. That guy in that bar knew how to work it.
That was so gross. I know some girls who would faint at the sight of that happening.
A foot just on the leg would just like puke.
I have an old roommate who's like deathly afraid of feet. She like you can't get near her without socks on. She'll like you start teasing her, she like runs up a couch and up a wall. She's like, get the fuck away from me. So I just want to forward that scene to her. I just want to crop it out and forward it to her.
You will never talk to her again.
So what was the deal? I mean, this lady goes into the sex parlor or the live sex adult place. I
have some insights on what the writer intended with this lady. With this lady.
but like what I got from it is she's in there recording the sex sounds for her husband's. Her name's Jane Lodge and her husband is Dr. Lodge. And like because her husband can't get it up and is impotent and he needs like sex sounds to get him off and
I don't think
his wife does it for him.
I don't think it was for her husband. I don't think it was for her husband after hearing about the character a little bit.
He has a drawer full of tapes.
I know. So I don't know if he just takes them from. Maybe it is. They didn't really mention that.
I just think the audio recorder and cassette tapes were more attractive than his wife because she was a dog.
Yeah, she wasn't the best.
She was okay.
All right. She was all right.
She had those stockings, and
she was a little older than what they wanted her to look like. I think.
And those pinups. I mean, that's
bad.
Too bad.
so the writer talked about how she was basically the well-to-do woman who you wouldn't think would be dirtier than a prostitute, but is in her mind and actions and hobbies and whatever she's doing. And then you have a prostitute who is more wholesome than she is, even though prostitutes aren't known to be wholesome. Who is the prostitute? Is that the
lieutenant's prostitute?
Yeah, the lieutenant's prostitute.
Kitty.
Yeah. So that was sort of the dynamic there. So she's supposed to be this, on the surface, this great, well-to-do lady, and then under the surface, she goes into the seedy parts of town to seek out, vaginal foot rubs, and
she's extremely horny, and she cannot control her instincts, and she needs to go and
I don't know that it played out that way, because I didn't even see it like that, these character dynamics, until it was explained to me. So I think maybe that was missed.
And somehow she was in the movie theater with the guy missing two fingers, and somehow she hooked up with him later, and then got tied up. And she does have the best lip quiver of all time.
I do feel bad for the actress. She was forced to act like she was orgasming like 8 times in this.
Yeah, that's gotta be tough, man.
Yeah. So.
But don't most women do that like all the time?
Well, yeah, when they're dealing with
like 8 times a week, probably.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Just before
real
we
quick on her, I picked up on some of that stuff, but what I didn't pick up on was like what for. Yeah. Was it just so we could get to know this like one victim, because she doesn't play into the plot really? I mean, I guess with those recordings they're able to figure out who the two-fingered man is. But even he's this like he's a red herring, and he's not a red herring. They show him being creepy early on, and almost immediately show you that he's calling the real killer, and he's not the real killer.
Mickey
Scalenda.
They say that he is the red herring. That's what the writer says. So,
but they show him call the killer twice.
I don't.
Because he could have been a red herring. That might have been a better movie, as if I just thought it was the two-fingered man.
What I thought for a minute was that there was 2 people. It was him and someone else. But
yeah, that's what I thought. He was like the recruiter. He'd find the killer, and the other guy would do the.
And I thought it was the psychiatrist at first, but then
who's the? I can't even picture the psychiatrist.
He looked like you.
Yeah, he kind of does, but with glasses.
Are you talking about the professor?
Yeah, the professor.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you say psychiatrist. It makes me think he's someone's psychiatrist.
Yeah. He's the one that the lieutenant went to go help him with the case.
Just side note, what pissed me off about him? I don't know if you guys picked up on this. Whenever he's delivering any lines at all, it just looks like he's about to laugh the whole time, or he's smiling the entire time.
He did have kind of.
Yeah.
He's always smarter than everybody around him.
He looks like me just because of his beard and hair.
Yeah.
Well, see, Danny, you have a beard.
His hair kind of looked like yours.
You just lumped in with the rest of us now.
I guess so. Yeah.
He was a handsome guy, Danny.
Wow.
He was a swooner.
We all just look alike to Carmelo.
Yeah.
All you white guys with beards are the same to me.
Besides me, I don't have a beard.
All right. Scotty's the one with no beard.
Yes. Just before we left, the writer, Sacchietti, I found it interesting that he does not watch any of his own movies, doesn't watch horror movies in general, because they bore him to death. Yeah, prefers to read horror and write horror, obviously. So I thought that was interesting. So yeah, I did watch an interview with Ross Howard, that's his stage name, who plays the two-fingered man. His real name is more Italian. I forgot what it was.
Mickey Scalenda.
I don't know. Are you sure?
Well, yeah.
That's his name in the movie. It's not the actor.
Hi, Savannah.
Howard Ross.
Ah, they saw you. They saw you.
Oh, she thought she snuck by.
It's her birthday, right? Happy birthday, Savannah.
It is her birthday.
Oh,
happy birthday, Savannah.
She can't hear us, but happy birthday.
They said happy birthday. He says thank you.
Now, this video is adding more interruptions. I apologize to everybody.
Howard Ross.
Yes,
Howard Ross.
Wishing my wife a happy birthday is an interruption.
Yeah.
No, she's part of the CCH family. We have to recognize her.
Ross Howard. Met
what are we talking about again?
He's the two-fingered man.
And of course, on IMDb, it's Howard Ross. So yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god. Okay, he's just all over the place.
He plays Mickey Scalenda, which is the killer.
He looks like he's Native American, by the way.
kind of does.
So he met Fulci at a dinner party. All these interviews were in Italian with subtitles. So I don't. Which, side note, they dubbed this film, but it did look like the mouths were speaking in English. But they just weren't totally lined up. So that's just sort of crazy. Did they have to learn English for this, or did they? I don't know. That was just. I thought
sometimes the actors read their lines phonetically.
Yeah, that could have been. That almost seemed like maybe that was it, because it's like they were sort of right, but not exactly right. So yeah, met Fulci at a dinner party. Fulci said, "Oh, you have a good look. I want to put you in a film." A couple days later, he got called into audition for this role, and Fulci liked him because he didn't look objectively good or bad in the face. So he wanted us to keep guessing, and I would sort of agree with that. He does sort of look like a sleazeball, I think, but it works. And, while filming in New York, he kept getting asked who he was. Are you Richard Bronson? There's lots of people on the street.
He kind of looks like Richard Ramirez a little bit.
The serial killer?
Yeah.
The Night Stalker.
Richard Ramirez. There. Now I said it.
During the sex scene, though, the sex show that he watches from the audience, Fulci said, you're getting too horny. He getting too excited about it. He said, you're getting too horny. Calm it down.
I must say, I got a little horny, kind of, when I first saw that movie theater scene.
A little bit. Yeah, I'm sorry. The bushes.
It was basically porn.
Yeah, pretty much.
The bushes just. I can't do the bushes. I don't do bush.
I'm on
no.
bush.
No, says the walking bush.
Oh, goodness gracious.
No, I do it on me. I'm just not nobody else. And I love the 80s, but that's just that. No,
that was a thing back in the 80s.
He did keep his fingers bent by himself. They offered him a prosthetic to help him do that. He's like, no, I got it.
So that was a prosthetic hand, huh?
Obviously, they put some makeup over his fingers and stuff. But he kept them bent himself the whole time, and he just said he was so used to it that he got used that he would just keep them like that all the time, even on breaks. They'd be like, "Hey, you can straighten your fingers now," and he's just, "No, there's stuff like this."
So I tried for 2 seconds just now. Yeah, it hurts like the dickens.
It does.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah, it's definitely something you got to train.
Rising said that we all did it. Like, here, let me try that.
Yeah. And he did one. He talked about a funny story where he went back to the hotel with his death makeup on. In New York, and everyone was freaking the fuck out. Like, what happened to you? Are you okay? Oh my god! It was obviously just makeup. A couple more things on him is that he remembered Fulci eating dinner, sitting down with the cast, eating dinner with everyone, getting the actors' take on the characters, answering questions, getting their input on the script. So overall, everyone who was interviewed says Fulci's a great guy and he's great to work with and whatever, but. So I know there are those stories and rumors about him being sort of an ass, and I'm sure he was when he lost his temper, but it seems like overall people enjoy working with him.
Yeah.
So I also watched an interview with Cinzia De Ponti, who was our first victim on the ferry. She was Miss Italy 1979 and got cast in this shortly after. Was upset that she died so quickly. But whatever. She proceeded to do at least one more Fulci film, which was the Manhattan Baby. And I actually skimmed over this in the interview with Sacchetti, the writer. Manhattan Baby was something. I think Sacchetti was writing it, and Fulci didn't like it at all because it had this thing where the character was supposed to. God, I don't remember, but something about traveling in either time or place to place. Morphing or whatever, so I had to use some digital effects. And Fulci had never ever done anything with digital effects, had no idea how they worked, and really neither did anyone in Italy at the time in filmmaking. So I had no interest in it, but it ended up getting made and is a film now who this lady was in again. So I just thought that was a curious side note. A lot of the same people work on a lot of the same Fulci films. But yeah, she was Miss Italy. Fulci taught her how to scream correctly in the audition. She did the bike scene 5 times where she runs in the car because he wasn't happy with it over and over again. Then no one wanted to kill her in the car on the ferry just because it was still a little bit dangerous. She had some chest padding. It was a retractable knife, but you're still getting a little aggressive. So Fulci...
The switchblade was retractable?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh my god.
So Fulci did it himself, did the killing. That's his hand that you see.
Oh, wow.
And then her last thing is that she had a slight allergy to latex, and so when she was on the block at the morgue and they were sewing up her titties or whatever, her stomach, she kept sneezing, and they had to sneezing in between takes, and she kept trying to hold it, and it was problematic. They had to keep doing takes for it. So
this was
where they show her body for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
That was where it first started. You get her. She was getting slashed up, and blood was like squirting out and stuff. And that was cool. But then they just kept going and going, and like, oh my god.
Yeah. I mentioned, or maybe I didn't mention her yet. Zara Karova, who was. Oh yeah, I did. She was the one from the sex scene who gets the bottle in the crotch.
Yeah, she's the one in the sex movie theater.
Yeah. She did say she's not proud of doing that scene. It was almost. She didn't really know what it was going to be until she got there on set. She was a friend of Fulci's. Fulci said, "Hey, I got some work for you. Come on down at this time at the studio." And her agent conveyed that information to her. She shows up at the studio with not much notice. She gets there and they're like, "Okay, so you're going to be naked. You're going to be having sex. This is how it's going down." And she said that it wasn't great money, but she didn't want to turn down a job at the time, and she already said she'd do it. And she was friends with Fulci, so she went ahead and did it. The guy was gay. It wasn't a huge deal, but it was embarrassing. And she tried to hide it from her parents for years and years.
That's why he wasn't into the scene. Yeah. I totally got that. Like, dude, this guy is not into the scene at all. He's
well known for his refined gaydar.
You're darn right.
He had a weird hairline. So yeah, she's not trying to disown it, but wasn't proud of it either. She's the one that got called the dead dog on set.
Oh, yeah.
Those are all the technical notes I have. I don't know if you guys just have other comments on the film. There were some cool things. I already mentioned the razor blade through the eye. I thought that was probably the most cool kill or cool effect that we saw, in my opinion. The face blowout was pretty cool, but it was obviously a fake head.
Prosthetic head, yeah. They did a cutaway, and then they cut back to his cheek and blown off.
It's hard for me to get on board with the massive amounts of dubbing going on. I'd almost rather just watch the film in Italian with subtitles, with their voices and everything. So that's a little tough for me, and I assume that's how most of Fulci's films are, Italian horror, where, like I said, that lost art of here's our screen actor, here's our well-known voice actor who's dubbing in, who's recognizable as a voice from all these other movies. And just to make it look right, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't think you hear of that ever these days, obviously. If you find an actor, you use his voice. Back then they were talking about this actor has the right look, he doesn't have the right voice, so we're going to dub in this other guy who's known for his gritty voice. That's what they did with specifically the cop in this movie, was they used a famous voice actor with a known gritty voice.
Jack Headley's voice.
Yeah, he's from Jersey or something, and so he dubbed the voice in, so that's not Jack Headley's real voice.
You know, Jack Headley probably spoke English too, but just didn't.
A lot of them looked like they spoke English.
Yeah. He played Lieutenant, and that. So Jack Headley, who plays Lieutenant Fred Williams, he's been in a lot of things too. I was looking at his IMDb. He hasn't been in anything recently, which I don't even know if he's still alive. But I thought he was a really good lieutenant cop look, and
I actually thought, looking at him, that he did a great job acting, but the voice and the dubbing just wasn't really matching up and doing it for me. So in my mind, it was really weird. I'm watching him, I'm like, oh, he looks like he's really into it, and his expressions, his nonverbals are really awesome. Mm-hmm. But then as soon as he started talking, I'm like, oh, this dubbing, I can't get past it.
Yeah.
So, other thoughts?
Just a few things that I noticed. Did you guys notice the marquee said American Werewolf in London?
I did.
Yes.
So
and Nighthawks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So that was
a couple others too. I forgot now.
That came out a year before this. I did. You know, the switchblade is the iconic weapon in this. Besides, I guess, you know, he used the broken bottle, and then the razor blade. The razor blade scene where the lieutenant's prostitute gets killed. It was supposed to be a lot longer, I guess, and gore-filled, and they cut it down a lot, I guess, even though there was a lot there. You like I thought the eyeball was cool, but what about the razor blade over the nipple, man? That was I mean, it looked pretty.
It made me look away. It was squeamish.
That actually was pretty cool. I forgot about that one.
And then like the dry ass lips, I did notice that.
Yeah.
For who was it? Oh yeah, it was the main girl in it. She had the dry lips after.
It's hard to say
she
main
out of the
girl
hospital.
because maybe the main girl could be the girl who gets toe fingered.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, you do sort of have the main girl.
Faye, which is played by Almonta Suska. But yeah, then
Almonta Suska.
But the Alexandra Deli Collie plays the other the wife to the girl to the guy.
No.
But yeah, and then I think her boyfriend might have came in a little late too for me. I mean, I thought he was a killer, so we couldn't have seen him. But if he would have came in like earlier, and I guess she kind of came in late too. But this boyfriend, man, he like showed warning signs of him being the killer almost right away too, because he's like dissing her the whole time, like IQ of 182, you have an IQ of 182, and you're such a dummy. He was just ripping on her the whole time, like, dude, this asshole. She's probably the killer.
He's just very young here.
Yeah, he was definitely.
You have to put these subtle hints to make sure she knows her place. That's
Burt Young is not subtle, sir.
All true.
Sorry, not subtle, just small hits, I should say.
Yeah.
I would have liked some indication as to how the killer knew the two-fingered man, like how they were connected. Because that piece of the puzzle would have made the movie make more sense to me if that was the revelation. Is like, oh wait, those guys knew each other. Then it'd be like, oh, okay,
yeah.
But nothing like that.
Well, that's the New York Ripper.
Yeah.
Not bad. Fun one to cover.
Yeah, it was definitely different. I guess Suspiria was a little. I don't know if it was similar, but it kind of had a little similar feel to it. But we haven't covered an Italian horror since then, so it was nice to switch it up.
Yeah. Just so you guys know, next week we're on to the Scream series.
Woohoo!
We will be doing Scream 1 through 4. I actually just think we're going to have Christopher Elswick on as a special guest for Scream 1 because of his generous pledge to our Kickstarter campaign. So in the coming episodes, coming months here, you listeners will start to hear, we'll have guests here and there because that was one of our rewards on Kickstarter. So if you gave at the appropriate level, you will be a guest on our podcast and just be here with us talking about the movie. You know, you can do some research if you want. You don't have to. You can just be a fly on the wall. Trust us, we'll do all the research for sure. And, you can just sort of be there to comment. And
give us your thoughts.
Yeah. We'll be covering that next week. Make sure you watch it. Make sure you get your horror halftime memes ready. Let's move on to our final segment of What Did You Watch?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Nice.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, I was on me and Scotty were on the road for most of the last 4 or 5 days, and so I didn't get to watch anything there. I did watch something.
I did not get to watch anything this week.
What did I fucking watch? All right, someone else go first.
I went to the theater to see Ready or Not. And loved it. I thought it was surprisingly funny and fun while being, suspenseful and spooky. It's got the main actress in there. Her name escapes me, but she was in The Babysitter on Netflix recently, and she was in the first season of Ash vs. Evil Dead. She's in
yeah.
She's terrific. She's like the ultimate modern scream queen. I'm just tickled pink to see her in.
She's like the ditz that hits on Pedro for a while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they meet her hiking, and then she just gets awfully maimed.
Pablo. I said Pedro.
Obliterated.
Is she the babysitter?
She is the babysitter,
okay,
right?
She is, yeah.
I haven't seen that movie yet.
Samara Weaving is her name.
Samara Weaving.
You can't say Samara without me thinking of The Ring. Sorry.
I know.
Yeah.
Right? The Ring Weaving.
Yes.
But she was great. So if you are bored, you want to go to the theater, go see Ready or Not. I think you'll like it.
Nice.
I do recall that I watched Geostorm. It was pretty bad.
It sounds bad.
It sounds pretty bad.
It has names. It's got Gerard Butler and Ed Harris and.
Gerard Butler is not a name, anymore, sir. I mean,
have you seen
yes,
300?
it is a name. 300 is overrated.
No. Rob, just stop. I'm just going to stop you right there. Just stop.
P.S. I love you.
Oh my God.
Cut his mic, for God's sakes.
Cut him off.
That's a really good Gerard Butler movie.
All right, so anyways, I watched that. It's a weather apocalyptic.
Oh, yeah. I saw it.
Yeah, it was in like 2017. Anyways, it wasn't that great. I think that's all I watched.
Rob, did you watch anything recovering from swamp infection?
I'm frantically looking.
Well, besides Fulci's other whatever film you watched.
Besides that other just absolute trash. I watched not horror related. It is Gerard Butler related.
Oh.
I watched Gamer, which is still good.
Oh, but you just said
Gerard Butler's in it.
But you just said you didn't like Gerard Butler.
No, I didn't. I said I didn't like the 300.
He's good.
And Gerard
Butler's not a name.
Yeah,
he's not a name.
Let's not go back on what we have it on.
No. I can say I like Gerard Butler, but like Gerard Butler isn't turning down roles right now. Like he's now on like the 7th sequel of Something Has Fallen.
Oh, that's true. I thought that was funny. That's there's only the second one I think because there's another one that just has a similar name but is different franchise and actors.
I think
this is the third in the series.
Well, one has Channing Tatum and one is Gerard Butler.
Not the Channing Tatum. That's a different thing.
But it's like a similar thing. He's protecting the president, and it's like Something Has Fallen, right? Or White House Down.
White House Down.
White House Down is Channing Tatum.
Olympus Has Fallen, and then there's Angel Has Fallen.
Yes, that's right.
London Has Fallen. You're forgetting London
has fallen. I like Gerard Butler.
For some reason, I feel like Aaron Eckhart is the president in both of them, but that's not true.
Morgan Freeman's
in the newest one. Yes,
that's okay.
But no, I really like Gerard Butler. Gerard Butler doesn't make good decisions because he did The Bodyguard and P.S. I Love You, and there is a laundry list of awful Gerard Butler movies. Not because of it's like Nick Cage. Nick Cage will never turn down a paycheck.
Yeah.
I can't believe he's so busy. If you Google Nick Cage, he's made like 15 movies in 3 years.
Yeah, he's done a lot. He does not.
It's all to pay back the IRS. It has to. But I watched Gamer. It's a throwback Gerard Butler, awesome action movie. Highly recommended. And then I forgot I watched Cloverfield for the first time.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And I remember that movie getting so much hate just from people around me. Everybody knows it's so good. It's found footage. It's crap. Cloverfield is amazing. Oh, yeah. That movie was so. It's like the best. It's found footage with an insane budget and produced by J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
It is so good.
It's good.
I do want to watch 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Oh, that was good. John Goodman's is badass in that.
Yeah, it's good. Cool, guys. Well, I think that wraps us up. Make sure you watch Scream. Follow us at Danny Bonin, at Scotty Bonin, at Chimeras Comics, at O'Neilio with 4 O's, at Cult Classic Horror on everything except at CC Horror on Twitter, patreon.com/Cult Classic Horror if you want to help us out, support what we're doing. We'd really appreciate it. Then make sure you rate and review us on iTunes. That's going to help us out a lot. So,
yes, but only if you do 5 stars. If you complain about us being misogynistic or racist because of Danny's remarks to the Italians, we don't want you to leave a review.
If we get complaints about anything, it's going to be me, not Rob.
It's just his accent.
Somebody did comment, I think it was James Blankenship commented that I did slip up and go full Hong Kong on one episode.
that happens from time to time, though.
He said he thoroughly enjoyed
it. All right, guys. We'll catch you next week for Scream.
Later.
Don't you blame the movies. Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
Oh, yes. There will be blood.